Okay, good morning everybody. Unfortunately, we have an IT blip and we can't connect to the live stream, so it is going to be recorded. A bit unfortunate, but these things happen. So, good morning everybody. We've no apologies for absence. Can we approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Agreed.
Okay. I've no announcements to make and no urgent items. Item 5, exclusion of public and press. I don't think there's anything we need to exclude the public and press from. I'll draw members' attention to item 6, declaration of interest, if anyone's got anything they need to declare. We'll move on to the key decisions. Item 7 is the capital programme update. It's the report for the first quarter of the financial year. Table 3 on this agenda on page 4 sets out our capital programme in just under 273 million over 5 years. Of this, 118 million is profiled to be spent this year on schemes including regeneration, highways, children's social care, technology and digital and schools. Section 3.3 of the report provides an update on the interest rates forecast and our treasury management position, with Appendix 4 providing more details. There are 2 new proposed schemes to be added to the capital programme. One is in relation to the proposed residential development in Castleford, as detailed in Section 3.6, Appendix 2. The second is to bring forward Phase 2 works at Nottingley, as set out in Section 3.7 and Appendix 6. Michael, as resident portfolio holder, do you want to mention the 2 projects, or are you?
No, I'm okay.
You're okay with it. Okay. Finally, there's a 1-page summary set out on page 67. The recommendations are set out at section 2, and I ask that we agree this report. But I'll take any questions if there is any. Okay, we agree the report.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Item 8 is the introduction of Article 4 directives to remove the permitted development rights. Matthew.
Yeah, thank you, Denise. This is a paper that's looking to introduce an Article 4 direction in a number of pilot schemes across the Wakefield district. We're not saying we're stopping house and multiple occupation, but gives it greater scrutiny that we now can refer these to planning. This is the start of a consultation that will last quite a few months. It will come back to Cabinet at the back end of next year, hopefully for formal adoption. So I think it's moving in the right direction. We do see some of the issues regarding house and multiple occupation, and this is looking at preserving affordable as well as looking at family homes across the district. So the areas are Castleford Centre North, Castleford Smallthorne, Abring Wakefield, Collies Grove Wakefield, Lincoln Street area Wakefield and Peterson Road Wakefield. So I hope that Cabinet can approve the option 1 at 4.2.
I'll bring you a minute. Yeah, I'm very pleased to see this report. HMOs are a necessity for people who haven't got anywhere else to live. But it's the landlords, I feel, that are causing all the problems, and we do need to get some legislation in to sort this out once and for all. The ward that I represent in Castleford has a real problem with this. Antisocial behaviour, no controls, etc. And this will actually bring controls in. And I think it's much needed, and I thank you for bringing this, Matthew.
And I think that's why the reason we're looking at Castleford and the areas in Wakefield is the highest population of house and multiple occupation. That's why we're piloting these.
Yeah.
It may be something we can look at further as we move on.
Yeah, Joe.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, very much welcome this report, Matthew. I think it is about time we crack down on the proliferation of HMOs. I mean, we've seen where they can erode the provision of family homes in local communities. They can affect local amenities, parking, cause all sorts of issues within residential areas. So I think it's right we introduce these regulations. And as you say, we're not prohibiting these. We're just ensuring that they're coherent with planning policy and strategies for local areas. And hopefully that message will go out to landlords. Just one comment from me. When we've obviously reviewed these areas and seen how successful the scheme's been, it'd be great if we could look at rolling it out to any further areas. Obviously, there may be an unintended consequence of moving the problem, and we have to be mindful of that. But I think this is very much a step in the right direction.
You are right, Jack. It's something we'll deal with as we move forward with these plans. But I think we all know that government needs to get a grip with this. They need to legislate and give local authorities the powers to deal with it in a better way. They are needed, they are part of the housing solution and plan, but they need to be regulated a lot better than what they are.
Michelle?
Thanks, Lydia. Yeah, I welcome this report. We've had, within my area as well, there are lots of family homes that are no longer family homes, and we have families within the communities unable to stay there anymore because landlords are buying them up and splitting them into a house of multiple occupation. Now there is, as you said, a need for that, and because there are people that that's all they can afford, or that's how they want to live, particularly professionals, single professionals. It works really well for them. I think we've had an influx in some areas of rogue type landlords that are just cramming as many people into properties as they can to yield maximum profit rather than looking at health and well-being of people that live in them. So I do welcome it. I welcome to see the outcome of the trials and the periods and see if we can put them in some other areas.
Okay, any more questions? Les?
Just a quickie, I think the important thing, Michelle's just covered the important thing for me is they are important in society for people who haven't got other places to go, and even semi-professional people. I think the real key for me, Matthew, is it's a start, and we're going to control it. I think so long as we control it, I really welcome it, and I think it's an excellent report. Thank you.
With that, can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Les, disposal of land at Stewart Road.
Yeah, okay. The land and buildings have been vacant since 2016 and was previously used as a nightclub. I can actually remember it being used as a nightclub quite a number of years ago. There have been several attempts in the past to dispose of this site, and the latest being to WDH along with the former fire station site opposite. However, the significant cost of demolition has always been a sticking point which has made any purchase of the site financially unviable. Most recently, we've had an unsolicited approach to purchase the site for a residential scheme from the owner of the adjoining land to the south. Regeneration colleagues have been able to glean some detail on what the scheme might look like on completion. The site itself lends itself to L-shaped building fronting onto both Stewart Road and Front Street. Due to the size and scale of the Haribo works behind, we feel the site could easily sustain a 5-storey development without any detrimental impact on adjoining neighbours. The height could also give the prominence the council will be looking for on its gateway into Pontefract. We propose a stepped developer part, 4-part, as a gateway into Pontefract, 5-storey in response to the sloping nature of the site. And to add some interest to external form, it would need to be architecturally iconic to give its prominent location. With that, I certainly ask Cabinet to approve the disposal as set out in the report and to authorise the Service Director, Property Facilities and Health and Safety in consultation with the portfolio holder for resources and property to agree the final terms of this disposal.
Thank you, Les. I think this site, the old Kiko site, we've been trying to sort this out for many years, and it's the gateway into Pontefract. And I think look, I'm going to say something, Hannah, in a minute, but I think really what a difference it's going to make. The fire station site has made a real difference and brought fabulous new homes in there, but the Kiko's site really lets it down. So I think it's really good that we're moving forward on this. Hannah?
Yeah, just to echo that, it's fantastic for Pontefract. I think the community in Pontefract will be so pleased to see a site that is in such a prominent position on your way into town, that has been a bit of an eyesore for the last 8 years or so. I think it's fantastic, a really positive step forward.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Item 10 is the corporate plan, and I'm pleased to present the Council's first progress report against our 2024-26 corporate plan. It sets out the progress we've made on our economic priorities, 17 outcomes and 106 initiatives between January and June. Building a fairer future is what the plan is all about and what we're focused on for everyone in our district. We've continued to face significant economic challenges this year. Inflation is impacting on the cost of providing council services in the same way as costs have gone up for households. so things have got more expensive across the public sector. The rising cost of living has had a profound impact on people right across our communities. This has meant they often need more support from us, placing greater demands on an already stretched council services. We're investing in the priorities for our communities and working with the new government to make the case for more funding and decision-making powers to help us make the most impact. As I say, the plan sets out our future council, how we're modernising and the decisions we make, responsible, sustainable and fair. I would like to invite colleagues, if anyone wants to speak about their particular area, and share a brief on the programme. Anyone? Maureen?
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. And it is about looking after the vulnerable people across our district as far as their well-being is concerned. And yesterday we had the first of our rollout of raising awareness of the pension credit across the district. We're entering the winter months and there are 4,000 pensioners across this district that don't claim pension credit. So we, as the Resident First group, went out to Eastmoor and did a pilot in Eastmoor. We were joined by the ward members there yesterday, and I think they both agree with me. It was quite a good event with 25 to 30 people that came, and we were able to help a good 90% of them. We will get the feedback from that, and I will report that back later. But we are rolling out. We've got a further 60 events across the district with more coming in. So yeah, thank you.
No, just to finish on that, Maureen, I thought it was a fantastic event. People are going to struggle with the winter fuel allowance situation, and as a council we need to step up, and your initiative that you've come forward with, I was there yesterday watching people coming in, and I know you were able to help a number of people get themselves on the right footing financially. I think it's a great initiative, and I'm glad we're rolling it out across the district. So many people are going to need our help this winter, so I hope everybody can support it. We spread the word that we are here to help with funding. Any other cabinet member want to report? Margaret?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Leader. As you're aware, we want children across the district to have the best start in life and to achieve maximum benefits from schooling and their wider lives. So we made some great progress against the corporate plan initiatives, and I'd like to thank everybody who's been involved in that. Recently, the local area partnership SEND inspection awarded Wakefield the highest possible rating and acknowledged that young people and families were actively listened to. The Parent Carer Forum felt as though they were equal members of the team and were involved in all the decision making. In April, we commissioned local voluntary and community sector partners to deliver another year of open access youth clubs and street-based detached youth work. The teams are targeting areas where youth as antisocial behaviour has been identified. 100 young people attended the recent Build Our Futures Summit. In May this year, the summit was on children's rights. These are always very well attended, and we get so much goodness out of them. We get a direction from young people rather than us deciding this is what young people want. The young people tell us what they want and what we need to do to help develop their lives going forward. So yes, I'm extremely pleased with the corporate plan, and I'd like to thank again everybody involved in making it work.
Thanks, Margaret. Anyone else? Michael?
Yeah, just to highlight some of the achievements in my area, I just want a massive thank you to the Step Up team for starters, because they continue to really help people and go above and beyond and do whatever it takes to get people back into good quality paid jobs. And you can see in the report just how many residents they've helped since we launched it. It's a fantastic addition to what's already out there. The Wakefield First team as well, they've been really good at getting money from UKSPF, bringing it into the council and using it to help businesses right across the district with all sorts of training, including how to write tenders and that. It just helps to really keep money in the district and to improve the economy. And one other is the housing enforcement we've got going on. There's a lot of officers who go out there knocking on people's doors, checking if everything's okay, and really pushing for improvement in the way people are living. It's something that I didn't know that we did quite on that level. And when I heard about it and how they improved people's lives and got those houses up to scratch and held landlords to account, because some lots of great landlords we've got in this district, and I think some of them probably aren't aware or don't realise the extent to which some of the problems are. So to get that sorted, I think is fantastic. And I think it really fits in with our vision as a council of improving people's lives, getting them into good jobs, getting them in good housing, and long may it continue. So thanks to the staff who were delivering that.
Matthew.
I think when people think of my area, it's all planning applications and potholes. When we start looking at this, though, it's how much of the service we support other services across the council, whether it be Michael in Regen, Jack over at his climate change agenda and what have you, and even the actualling that we was involved in that. It just shows that in one sense we're the engine works of the council, that we do support and help as many departments as possible.
Okay, anyone else? No.
Yeah, just briefly, but certainly our group's working tirelessly to deliver against 6 key priorities, 17 outcomes, 106 initiatives, but primarily I'd like to forecast getting and go far apprentices. I've started with the council since January 11. We're looking to start another 15 in that area, and I think it's important, apprentices, getting young people into society and off the streets is what we're all about, and the team are focusing on that, and I'd like to congratulate on certainly the job that they're doing at present.
Thank you for that. Michelle.
Yeah, I just want to comment on how every time we get a sort of an update on the progress report on it, how amazing it is and very easy reading, all the things that you can see in there where we are meeting. I think we often get a lot of criticism for not providing services, but you can just look at this one document and just see, actually, look at what we are delivering for people in our communities. In my own portfolio, we've been focusing on homelessness and tobacco control and smoke-free legislation alongside communities as well, looking at how those specialist services can be put in place to support homelessness. I just think there's just some absolutely fantastic things in there. If we look at in the last 12 months through the work that we've done, 80% of pregnant women have stopped smoking. I think it's an absolutely enormous achievement and leads to better outcomes. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the 50 things to do before you're 5 up, because I know it is within children, but it is really good for adults and families as well, and get everybody out, getting everybody moving. I just think what a fantastic way, the format in which it's set out, to be able to promote exactly what this council is doing and delivering.
Thanks, Michelle. Anyone else? Are you okay? Can we agree the report? And can I thank officers for all the hard work they've done putting in this report, pulling it together across the piece, because it really does say all the good things we do. We don't get everything right, as we know, but you know, we do all we can, and this report sets out the amazing things that we are doing as an authority. So can we agree the report? Thank you very much. Item 11 is the financial health report. It sets out from the period between April and July of this year. This report updates Cabinet on the Council's financial position for our 285 million net revenue budget. Like other councils across the region, we've got a challenging position for the remainder of 24-25. The report sets out the potential overspend of just under 10 million. The Council is not immune to the national trends that we're seeing in local government. Right across the country, demand for key services is increasing, and this inevitably results in financial pressures for local budgets. There are also other unexpected costs outlined in the report which we'll need to respond to. The inflationary pressures on the wider economy have meant the impact of local government pay award is projected, and a further 1.8 million financial pressures in addition to what was expected at the point the budget was set. Section 3.7 of the report sets out a more detailed breakdown of the forecast overspend by Corporate Directorate. We're taking some robust steps to reduce the overspend as much as we can, reducing discretionary spending, managing some of our service budgets differently, and identifying emergency issues and looking to address them as early as we can. But I won't pretend it's not a difficult task. I've asked Council officers and Cabinet colleagues to continue to report back to Cabinet on the steps taken to mitigate the overspend in our budget so that we can monitor progress. Everything we do this year will have an impact on future years, so it's important that we take firm steps now to reduce this overspend as much as possible. The report sets out the substantial progress we've made to deliver the savings agreed in February. 91% of the proposed savings are expected to be delivered, with more details set out on agenda page 227 on this report. Section 3.10 provides an update on the position with Council reserves. The Council will always take responsible, sustainable and fair decisions. Having a balanced budget, even in the very challenging environment for councils at the moment, is central to enabling us to provide the services and support our communities deserve. So Cabinet will be receiving further updates later in the autumn about our financial position and emerging budget plans for 25-26. In the meantime, I ask that we agree the recommendations set out in the report. Any comments, any questions? Les?
Yeah, thanks for that report. I think it shows the challenge that we're facing. We've just talked about the good work that officers are doing right across the district, helping people, helping organisations. But the truth of it, it's getting harder. It's getting harder and harder because of the financial position that we find ourselves in. We are working hard to control the budget. We are working hard to target it in the areas that we need to target it in. But the truth of it is, unless there's a radical change in certainly funding public services, then we can all see where some of this will end up. I, for one, would hope that this government does look at this position and looks at it urgently, because without that, we will have to make some decisions that people around this table don't really want to make over the next 12 months. I will give credit to the officers and to people around this table for looking, and you've said it, Leader, but I think it's important, for looking and doing everything we can to make sure the budgets are there, make sure the money's there, make sure that we're spending it in the right areas, what money we've got. But it is a challenging position, and I don't think that we can ever certainly turn us back on it. It's something that the next 12 months to 3 years is going to be really difficult. What I will say is we are in a better position now than what some of our colleagues are, but we can all see where the cliff edge is, and we are working to make sure we don't get near that cliff edge. Sorry for that doom and gloom, but I think we should be realistic about the position that we're in.
I think we are, and I think we have to be. And I think that if government don't fund local government properly, people are, you have councils going bankrupt all across the country earlier this year. We've been in a much more stable position, but we won't survive without some government funding. We get the settlement on a yearly basis, and I did hope that the new Labour government would at least give us a 3-year settlement. That we wait to see what happens in the budget or later in the year. We never get the settlement until right before Christmas Eve. I always wonder why we have to wait till Christmas Eve to find out when they're going to give us the money. But really, we need to be lobbying for at least a 3-year settlement, even if we're not going to get any more funding. And I think that's something that we should be doing with the Chancellor to make sure that we get all we need, because local government is what people survive with. And if we haven't got the funding, it's going to be tremendously hard for everyone. So we need to step up and lobby our government as much as we can. So I know it's doom and gloom, but it has to be said, it's not, everything isn't wonderful at the moment. We're better than most, but if we're not looked after better in the future, times will be tough. Anybody else? Okay, Michael?
Just to echo that, what Les and yourself have said, Denise, I think everyone in this room entered local government to improve the community and improve people's lives. And since I've been a councillor, I've just been sat around moaning about cuts and lack of investment and we're not getting any money. I hope we're not doing that for another 5 or 10 years. I hope this black hole is plugged and we actually get, you know, we're not asking for millions and millions to be poured in, but we could do it with going back to the levels we were at prior to austerity and actually delivering some good quality services. We're always expecting people to pay more. They should be getting more for the money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Okay, with that, come the report. Thank you. Item 12 is the Vital Signs Cabinet report. I'm pleased to share the latest performance with you today that covers from April to June. It's important that we manage our performance and use our resources efficiently, as we've just been saying, against the priorities to provide value for money for our residents and businesses. You'll see in the report we set out how we manage and monitor our performance through our performance management framework. I'm really pleased that we've made some positive progress in some areas, but as we've just said, are very challenging times, and we're facing significant budget pressures, increasing demand and a cost of living crisis. We need to do all we can to help our residents across the district, as Maureen is doing in her area at the moment, and we need to do more of this and help more people. So can we note the performance against the vital sign indicators and actions being taken to improve performance, and can we recommend this report be submitted to Overview and Scrutiny Committee for consideration and further examination? Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine, thank you. Item 13 is the Hazelgarth Care Home report. Agenda item 13 is our report on our next steps following the independent review into the closure of Hazelgarth Care Home in Nottingham. The report asks Cabinet to note the contents of the review, which was published on the 27th of August, to formally record our apology for the impact of the decision to close Hazelgarth, and to endorse the approach we're taking to implement the recommendations from the review. I first want to reiterate our public apology for what happened at Hazelgarth to the families in particular, but to the staff as well. This should never have happened, and we are taking steps to make sure it never happens again. Apologies only go so far, and what's needed now is to work with the families and the staff and the trade unions to make sure that we open Hazelgarth as quickly as we can, but in a proper way, so it's fit for purpose, and that we take the families with us on our action plan and move it forward. I'd like to thank Janet Waggett for carrying the report out at a pace over the summer. It doesn't make for easy reading for any of us, but it's a detailed and thorough piece of work, and it will be a catalyst for change to make sure that this never happens again. Cabinet today is accepting the recommendations in full and committing that the Council will learn lessons to make sure this never happens again. Hazelgarth won't be repeated. We're going to use this experience to put more robust procedures in place as recommended by the report. Families and staff are at the forefront of all this for us. And as I say, words, it's okay having words and saying these things, but you have to see actions and what we're going to do to put things right so that other people don't suffer again. I'm going to hand over to Michelle now, who's going to talk about the next steps.
Thank you, and I'd like to start by echoing that apology to our residents, their families, and to our staff that were all affected by the decision that were made at Hazelgarth. I am profoundly sorry for the impact that this has had on them, and I'm acutely aware of the responsibility that we now have to put in place a clear plan to implement the recommendations from the independent review. And I know that implementing that is how we will be judged. The review starkly sets out the significant failures in how this decision was made, the unacceptable short time frame to make major changes to how we cared for vulnerable people, and our inadequate communication with residents, their families and staff. Cabinet will note that we've already taken some early decisive steps to act on the recommendations of the review. So we've already strengthened our leadership team in adult social care, appointing a new interim corporate director for adults, health and communities, and with that has brought a significant amount of new senior and professional leadership to the council. The leader has reflected the changes at senior office level by creating a dedicated cabinet member role for adults and health, which it is a privilege to have been appointed to. We've already published the review in full on the council's website as part of our approach to being open and transparent on our improvement journey, and that will not stop throughout it. So today I'm asking that Cabinet endorse our draft action plan containing Appendix A on the agenda. The plan sets out recommendations from the review and the action the council is taking to implement them. It covers a series of areas, including how we have more robust decision-making approach and processes, on having adequate training and support for staff, and on how having a culture welcoming specialist professional and advice to challenge. It's also important that we do much more to put the voice of the people we care for, their families and our frontline staff at the heart of any decisions that are made. So, as I've said, this plan very much is a draft plan because we want to ensure that we've got all those voices heard in it, so that family and key stakeholders are able to contribute to make sure that it is a robust plan as it can be, and to enable everyone that feeds into it to do so. The plan will be considered as part of the council scrutiny processes, so there'll be multiple opportunities for elected members to feed into its development as well. I'll bring the plan, once it's finalised, back to Cabinet and to receive progress reports on its update regularly, which will also be in the public domain at our meetings. So with that, I want to ask that Cabinet agrees the recommendation is set out in the report, so that the decision that was made at Hazelgarth can never happen again.
Thank you, Michelle. Any comments, anyone? Jack?
Thank you, Denise. Yeah, very much welcome the plan and fully agree with the comments made by Michelle and yourself, Leader. We should quite rightly apologise to families over this and accept without any equivocation the report that Janet Waggett's done. And I just think a clear thing for me is that we all own this report. It's a duty of all Cabinet to support Michelle and yourself in making sure that it's delivered, working closely with the officers. So this isn't just one of us, this is on all of us to deliver and make sure that it happens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can we agree the report and await further progress, etc.?
Yes, agreed.
Okay, thank you. Item 14 is the Wakefield Housing Plan progress report. Michael.
Thanks, Denise. So this housing plan we launched in 2023 and it's the 2026, and it follows on from our 19 to 22 plan, which, as everyone knows, was through across a really difficult period of time with lots and lots of challenges, which we've gone on about for God knows how long, and hopefully it's coming out that and getting a bit better now. But one thing to highlight is that Wakefield has always performed really well in terms of delivering new housing and better homes when compared to councils across the country. And you can see on page 299 a lot of the achievements and a lot of the outcomes that have been really positive for the people who live in this district. So there's a lot to celebrate in the first year of this plan, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the next 2 years. But challenges do still remain, and demand is increasing for a number of different reasons. And so we do have to continue to provide more homes and better quality homes. One thing residents say to me, and I know they definitely say it to people around this room as well, is that we need more housing that is specialist. So for certain groups of people, for example, more bungalows, there's a lack of that across the district. And also, a lot of people say about the infrastructure that goes with housing as well. We don't have enough doctors, enough dentists, etc., etc. I think it's clear to me we can't sort of wait around for more doctors and dentists to appear and everyone sleep on the streets or on people's couches. We need to build homes, but it's a priority within this plan, priority number 4, to ensure that we do work with our partners, because we don't build our own housing, and we certainly don't build doctors or dentists, but we can lobby for these things and we can work with our partners to make sure that everyone has that infrastructure that they need. It's not perfect. It's not perfect anywhere in the country. I think everyone struggles to get a dentist appointment. but it is our priority, and we will do everything we can to push for that to happen, as well as providing those better homes that people need to enjoy and to prosper. So with that, Leader, move the report, the plans attached at the back with all that granular detail. We're happy to take any questions or comments on that.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. That concludes the meeting. Thank you everyone for attending.